Well, hey, welcome back. Glad you're here. You'll remember that the last time we talked, I showed you what I call the whole person diagram. This is a quick refresher. We're going to let that heart in the center represent the essence of who you really are. Call it soul, prana, ray, chi, ki, doesn't matter what you call it. Call it life, your life force. It's the essence of who you really are. From the time you popped out onto the planet, you got inundated, you have been inundated, as have I, with experiences. From those experiences, you formed all sorts of concepts, ideas, beliefs about who you are, about who you think you're supposed to be. So that second red ring around there represents those beliefs. And remember, beliefs are just opinions that you have developed an attachment to, developed a loyalty to. Doesn't mean they're wrong, but they're just beliefs, they're just opinions. Based on those beliefs, you form another layer, the yellow ring, your act, your advertising, your persona, your personality, your style of being. There's nothing wrong with a good act. I help people get their acts together, but you do not want to get your act confused with who you are on the inside, because your act, if you do that, when your act is winning critics' acclaim, you'll be thrilled. But when it takes a dive, because it's going to get the dickens kicked out of it at some point, you're going to fight to preserve your act like you would fight to preserve your life. So two things are important about your act. Remember that you're not your act. Again, you can have a good one, you can enjoy it, you can get clothes to go with it, you can get, I don't know, a place to live to go with it perhaps, but you're not your act. And it's important to match who you are on the inside. This is when you're going to feel the best, with who you are on the outside, with your act, your advertising. The last time we talked, I said I had many, and I hang my head in shame that it's true, but it is true, painful examples of times when my act and my essence have not been congruent. And I was thinking earlier that I would share, I mean, I've got lots of them, that I would share at least one of them with you. And I think what I'm going to share, I've got my 55th high school reunion about to happen. And I guess one of the first times I ever really spotted my own act, my own advertising, and recognized the difference between that and me was when I was about 16. Now you got to keep in mind that I grew up in what was then a small West Texas town, relatively small, in which the big dogs had flat tops. I had curly hair, at least I had hair. They had big necks because they were athletes. I had a big neck, but I had a big neck because I ordered a neck strap and weights from Joe Weider Products, and I used to do these neck exercises. I still have neck problems from that, but I had a neck that looks pretty darn good. The big dogs made the varsity football team. I managed to make the varsity football team, probably by the skin of my teeth, but I made it. And so before long, I had developed a fair to middling big dog disguise, a pretty good act, because I wanted to have a frosty-haired pom-pom girl on my arm. And sure enough, before long, I began to have some dates, and I began to really enjoy being with girls. And all went along just swimmingly for a long time. Things were good until I met a girl. I'm gonna call her Sally. I met a girl called Sally. Now, it was a little different with Sally because I really liked her. I liked her wit. I liked the wisdom with which she spoke. I just liked her. I mean, by that time, I knew pretty well how to kiss a girl's lips and hold her hand and stroke her hair and nibble her earlobe. But I liked Sally. And while I knew what to do with a girl's parts, I didn't have the foggiest notion what to do with a whole girl. So mostly when I was with her, I just flexed my neck. Well, I remember one day, and I remember it very vividly, when Sally was standing on her front porch, and I was standing about 15 feet away on her sidewalk. I was wearing my leather jacket, and I had my thumbs kind of in my pockets of my Levi's, and I had my neck at full flex. Okay, I mean, I thought I looked kind of like Marlon Brando on the waterfront or something, kind of sullen, whatever. I'm looking at her, thinking I'm cool as a cucumber, and all of a sudden Sally looks at me and says, "Why are you standing like that?" Well, it was like, wow, she knows I'm standing like that. I didn't know she knew I was standing like that. Uh, I thought she thought I looked loose as a goose and cool as can be. Now, I didn't know what to do because it was clear that Sally could see right through me. Now, I'm sure that wasn't the first time Sally saw right through me, but it was the first time I had ever seen Sally see right through me. So, my act was on the line. It was it was like my act was on the chopping block and Sally had the axe in her hand. I didn't have the foggiest notion what to do. I thought I looked just sharp as a tack, cool as a cucumber, kind of like Marlon Brando, as I may have said earlier. So what I did is I flexed harder with my neck, and I think I said something witty like, "A bird go now," and then I turned and I walked to my car, 1955 Ford pinstripe, lowered in front. Walking while flexing one's neck fully takes concentration. Opening the door, getting in the car, and driving off while staying flexed takes Zen concentration. But I managed to do it. Now what I noticed, I was so embarrassed that from then on, every time I was with Sally, I hardly talked. I think I basically flexed harder, not just with my muscles, but with my whole psyche. I even think I was rude some of the time. So before long, Sally, who I really liked, faded right out of my life and me out of hers. It's no wonder. So I guess the moral of this story is, it's hell on relationships if you're flexing all the time. Relax your pact to keep your act intact. And thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate it very much.